everyone. Welcome to this super informal, kind of almost last minute interview with a friend of mine, George Trahanis, Trahanis or Trahanis, George?
Trahanis.
Trahanis. Very good. And George, I was writing back an email yesterday, and I was probably being a little too harsh with the woman I was emailing back because she was telling me blah, blah, blah. She was kind of like judging everything, and it just really annoyed me. And in the middle of my writing tour, George called me to tell me that he appreciated something that I was doing, the very thing that she was telling me that she didn't appreciate. And so I wanted to get the perspective of someone who is doing voiceovers now, who is actually out there being a pro, doing a lot of the things that I talk about, and do a quick informal talk about it. That's all, because I know some people are like, question everything, and so I wanted to provide another voice aside from mine. So George Trahanis, how you doing?
I'm fine, Bones. How are you doing?
I'm awesome, thanks. I'm super glad to be able to talk to you right now.
Me too. I'm glad we can get the word out and hopefully clarify some things for people.
Yeah, thank you. My favorite thing is I can see your cat there in the corner there, licking himself, I guess, or something.
Oh, yes, he's in. Yeah, that would be one of three.
Three, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So George, you know, let's just pick up from yesterday. I picked up the phone and I was like, hello, and you said,
I said, Bones, I just wanted to let you know that I appreciated hearing your vote of confidence for Voiceover Genesis.
Cool. And I was like, George, man, where have you been? How are you? Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Because George was you were my first mastermind class.
I was in your first mastermind class, right?
Yeah. And in fact, I used your testimonial in one of my videos somewhere.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So thanks for that. And so you know, you also called to tell me a bit of news about your living situation. How's that? Tell me about that.
Right. Well, I am now bi-coastal. I don't mean New York, California. I mean New York and New Orleans. My husband and I bought a house in New Orleans, and now I'm pursuing work in New York and in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And when now that you're doing that, how about this? What did you do today, George?
What did I do today? Okay, yeah. I auditioned for 4 projects on Voice 123.
Huh.
I registered for HollywoodSouthCasting.com, which is the central casting of Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
What else did I do? I made some phone calls. I'm playing phone tag with a voiceover agent down there now, hoping to hear from him again today. We've missed each other the last 2 days, so we're doing that.
Great.
And just working on the resume. I'm contemplating a new headshot. Lisa Gold and I are working on that. So it's been a very busy day.
Awesome.
And it's very rewarding to be away from that day job that I had.
Oh, what? You mean to tell me that you did all that work today?
At home.
Wow. Well, yeah. That's interesting. And, you know, that's my whole philosophy, my whole push, is that when you can kind of be in a situation where you aren't working a day job, how much more energy you have.
Oh my God, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, tons. And your perspective. And I really think that your work also becomes better. I had an audition yesterday with a casting director, and it was one of the first times I'd gone into this situation that I had not been at my day job for hours and hours and hours. And I had a grand slam. We got on famously. I made a new contact. She loved my work in the booth. It was great. Great.
Awesome. And loved my work in the booths. And, you know, only because this week we're talking about VO Genesis and how, you know, it's all about voiceover work. You know, I have some friends who've been doing a lot of that work at home, and, you know, people don't know that that's a thing now. And I tried to express to people that a couple years ago I did something for the History Channel, and I had to go downtown, and there were like all these sound booths and big engineers and all this stuff. A couple years later, I went to somebody's production studio that was in an apartment. Mm-hmm. And then the last one I did, it was done in my bathroom, you know, and I was trying to explain to people that that's that's what technology does. That's what technology does.
Exactly. It makes it, it's a lot easier now to have a voiceover career, I'm sure, than it was 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's that movie, there's a voiceover movie on Netflix now. Yeah, what's it called?
Oh, with the woman?
It's like they interview a whole bunch of people.
I think I know the one you mean. And the main character and her father are both in voiceovers. It's something like The Next Voice You Hear. Oh, In a World.
It might be In a World. It might be In a World. Yeah, totally. Yeah. And of course, that's what's his name's famous line, LaFontaine, Don LaFontaine's famous "In a World," where right. Exactly. And there's that great video of like the 4 or 5 like major voiceover guys narrating their own drive to like an award show on YouTube, and it's like a bazillion views. But that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And for people who don't know, voiceovers now and have been changed because of the internet, just like video has changed. Now you can have a web. I auditioned for ABC because they're making a pilot out of a web series that never even went on the web yet. That means that those people made a web series but sold it before they even got online. And they could do that without any union. They could do that completely under the radar. And that's happening in voiceovers too. So, regular everyday people are doing voiceovers from home, making a couple $100s here and there. I feel like it's up to us to change with those times because we're supposed to be the professionals.
Exactly.
Yeah. You mentioned to me when you called yesterday, or maybe that was earlier today, that you spoke to, I guess it was your voiceover coach, right? Your voiceover coach?
Yes. I think in spite of everything, and Jenny even says so in Voiceover Genesis, she concurs with this. I think it's very important, in addition to, okay, let me put it this way. Voiceover Genesis is not a cookbook recipe.
Right. You
can't just go, oh, okay, I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this, an instant voiceover career.
Right.
She highlights things that most of which I've known before that you need to do. You need to set up a home studio. You should get
careful. That's the moneymaker right there. Hold
on. You need to set up a home studio. You need to know how to make a demo. You need to do a number of things. There's no shortcut.
Right.
And for people that ever thought that it was a shortcut, there ain't no way. But what it provides in layman's terms, the exact strategy that you need to follow if you want to have a voiceover career.
Yeah. Cool. And I mentioned also in my blog review of it that I want everyone to remember that it's for laymen, it's for people who aren't in the business at all. So like the first module is super intro and very like, hey, did you even know you could do this? And then there are the upsells and the upgrades in there, the other modules. Did you find any value in the other modules? Because I know you were probably past the intro one.
Okay, I've been looking at the Voiceover Accelerator package.
Yeah.
And I did find some very useful material about script analysis that I had already explored, but it made it very clear. What I didn't find, and I know people are probably going to be disappointed in this, I did not find a direct connection to a website for finding jobs. I mean, she mentions voices.com, Voice12.
Don't. In other words, I was unaware of all those. So for me, that was big. In fact, page 11 in the intro book was big for me.
Okay.
So, you're already in it. So so like the websites that you know of.
Okay, she suggested very reputable websites.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Whereas someone starting off or who has this idea without a clue, for me, I was like, of course I would. Of course I would buy this and find out where the sites were. Like, it just made sense to me.
As
that
a,
I would, that if I wanted
as
better information to pay for it. That's all.
Sure, sure.
Cool. Tell me about what do you find your voices? What do you market your voices? What does your coach say your voice is?
Well, I've got a very wide range. He tells me that I've got the best vocal production of any student he's ever had, which
Oh, all right.
I'm hearing. But I do everything from kids a youthful. My vocal range is like from like teens until 50s or 60s.
Okay.
I've got a really wide range. I've done everything from audiobooks, commercials, industrials. I love industrials. And I'm up for an audiobook right now.
Nice.
And I can't wait to see what happens with that because I'd really like to get into doing that full time.
Yeah, I have a friend who, he actually has cancer, and he was weak. And this guy, has been in films, okay, and kind of weak. But he was doing these audiobooks, and he got paid very well to do a bunch of audiobooks.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Tell me about the pay for audiobooks.
Well, first of all, it's usually a couple $100 per finished hour.
Right.
And you can make and to finish an audiobook takes about anywhere from 10 to 12 hours. So you do the math. I mean, it's good money.
Thank you. Now, when I say that, when I've said that, you can make it quite a bit an hour doing that. My whole thing is to not trade your time for money. But at certain numbers, no problem. Sign me up. So, if you think about that, if you were a publisher, you would say, well, wait a minute. 10 years ago, if you're a publisher and you wanted an audiobook out 10 years ago, you'd be like, damn, this is going to cost me thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars to do.
Casting director, auditioning, all of that. Yeah. And now it can all be done over the web.
Exactly. So it's not a matter of, it's bad for the, if something is bad for the union or not. Is it good for the buyer of our services? What's good for the buyer of our services? And that's what is coming and changing, and people can be mad about it, and I don't blame them, but that's what's coming. And I want to drill that into people's kind of head. What do you think of that?
I'll tell you something. All of the union voiceover actors I know subscribe to those websites.
Yeah. Yes. Because that's where the profession's going.
Yes. It's not always going into a soundproof booth and being this, Right. So I did 4 auditions today in the course of an hour.
Right. From home with your setup that you invested in to create.
Exactly. And the thing is I just want to caution people that they don't that they're not misled.
Right.
Because it's not like I said, it's not a cookbook recipe. You can't, I'll read this material and I'll have a voiceover career. No, it's a lot of hard work. And Jenny even says in Voiceover Genesis, get yourself a private coach, get yourself a class, take an acting class, things that we did, as second nature.
Right.
For the layman out there who wants to get in voiceovers, that's what you got to do.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, hey guys, look, we're already halfway through this thing. We know that if we want to get jobs, we probably have to meet the people who buy that service. So like, telling the mom, the stay-at-home mom who wants a voiceover career, hey, you should probably get some business cards made, and maybe put yourself on these sites and stuff. We kind of already know that. So we can step ahead of that. So that's why I'm all about promoting the idea of it.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I can understand the woman who wrote to you's dismay about that because, immediately your thought goes to, oh, well, that's more competition.
Right. And it's true.
It's an enterprise.
Right. It's true. There's 2 ways to think about it, right? There's the abundance mindset that says there's plenty
of work for everybody, right?
Right, plenty of room for everybody, and we're widening the pie. There's definitely that way to think about it. There's also the oh no, there's more competition. Da 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 da. What I have found is that the vast majority of people kind of only do 20% of anything. But if you're the person who does 25%, wow, you stick out.
Right.
So that's all. I'm glad that I could have this time with you, George. I'm gonna see if I can get some links to do you have any of your work online? Do you know if it's out there?
What?
Do you have any of your previous VOs online somewhere? Do you know?
No, but if you go to one of the websites, you can hear my demos, or I could send you demos.
Yeah, please send me a link to your demo. I will add the links down here.
Oh, okay. You can go to my website.
Okay.
GeorgeTrahanis.com.
Boom. I will add that link down here somewhere under this video.
Great. Well, thank you. That's great. That'll get me. It works for me too. You know.
Exactly.
That's fabulous.
Cool. Good. Well, George, anytime you want to come, anytime you want to come back to Mastermind, or whatever, you're allowed free. That's the thing. Once somebody's taken the Mastermind, they can do any class again,
oh,
free.
Okay.
And I am sure, using this video will be good for your voiceover career too.
I think so, and I thank you for that suggestion. Yeah. It helps everybody.
Yeah.
It gives people information, and hey, the more you put out there, the more comes back to you.
There you go. There you go. And with that, I will thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me on here and for letting me record you.
Okay.
And all that stuff. And I look forward to doing stuff with you in the future.
Okay. You take care, my friend. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye, you guys.